let's get serious, boys.
Uh-oh. Well, then
Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This is
They're gonna beat the shit out of each other.
right?
And it's gonna be glorious.
It's gonna be fantastic, right? There's no
Yes.
reason why this is not going to be fantastic. There's
Yeah.
no reason
One
why
of
this
them
is
is
not.
gonna die.
I hope
I mean,
not.
Well,
Yeah,
no,
me neither.
In
But-
case somebody's walking out of there a little sore.
How do we approach this? Okay, I'll stop. Look, I'll throw this to you, Joe. I think that right now, well, in my opinion, right? Of course, this is all opinion, right? I mean, we don't deal in facts here. I think that the Jon Moxley, Daniel Bryan stuff on AEW is the most compelling, awesome shit going on the entire show, top to bottom. There's nothing that gets me going more than these two guys. These two guys program. I'm afraid to call it a feud because it just feels like just two guys who want to fight each other. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I think this is the best thing on AEW right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely up there. This and CM Punk and MJF are the two things I care about the most right now, currently on AEW television. I've loved every promo segment that these two have had. I loved Danielson saying, "Hey," I loved him mentioning Lee Moriarty. I loved him mentioning Wheeler Yuta and mentioning Daniel Garcia and then fighting them all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love the match he had. That main event on Dynamite with him and Garcia was awesome. And that whole time, him yelling the whole time, like, show me, like yelling at Garcia, show me the what I want to see.
Like he's
and
already the dojo leader,
Correct. Yes. Like he's doing this in the matches. He did it with Moriarty too. Like, come on, show me. And at the end of the Garcia match, he said, that's what I was looking for. Like, that's who and I love the first promo where Moxley was like, look, I'm not saying yes, but I'm not saying no either. Like, I'm not uninterested. And then you hear, well, you know what? Before I start teaming with people, I got to bleed with them first. I got to see how tough they truly are before I start, and that's true. Because if you look at the previous person that Moxley started teaming with in Kingston, it went that way too. He had to kind of they were friends, but Kingston had to prove his worth to Moxley to start teaming with him. So Moxley has always kind of done that. Like, hey, I'm not against teaming with you, but I got to know you're worth me teaming with you first. Right. And it's just so good. It's just so good. I hope they do team. I hope they beat the crap out of each other. We'll talk about the predictions in a bit. And then I hope they do team up together. And I hope they take Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta, and they create whatever they're doing, a dungeon, whatever they're going to do, a dungeon, whatever, just a group of people that just ruin everybody. I don't care. But that's what I want. I want these two to be together. And if they got to beat the crap out of each other to do it first, good. That's more enjoyment for me. I love it. I love it all.
What do you think, Pluggo?
Oh my God. I think he said it all. But I will. No, that's fine. Because this is fantastic.
The Italian in me, I can go, man.
Oh, that's fine. That's why I keep you around. Fill the gaps in the show. But no, this is great. And we just talked about the pillars, right? The MJFs, the Darbys, the Sammy Guevara's. But Garcia, Yuta. Sorry, I said Yuta at first, and I was like, that was terrible. And Lee Moriarty, that's your next. That's your whatever. There's pillars, whatever's under that. That's next, right? So having Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley essentially put those three over as the future of the company and saying, give them to us, let us mold them. They'll be here long after we're gone type stuff. I think that is fantastic. And this Bryan Danielson is wonderful. Like, give me more. That's awesome. What I want to see. He's never gone into a match going, don't give me your best. Like, no, I want you to try to kill me. And then you know what I mean? And I love that. I love that. Like, that's awesome. Cause he knows he's the best going right now in wrestling and he can beat anybody. And Moxley looks like $1 million. Shout out to him. I think he looks great. And I think they're going to beat the crap out of each other. And I think the ultimate winner is us, the fans. I don't even care who wins. I want them both to just fall and do a 10 count.
But I feel like a lot of us probably feel that way. Like at the end of the day, we're going to pick who we think is going to win. But I'm perfectly okay with any outcome that happens in this match. Like, I'm not rooting for one guy over the other. I like both these guys. Yeah, like I just want them to beat the crap out of each other. If Danielson wins, awesome. If Moxley wins, awesome. But as long as it ends up with them together afterwards, that's really the prediction that I want.
This is a main event anywhere else. Like this is a main event match anywhere else, and it's somewhere in the middle of this card.
Sure,
that's how crazy.
And I don't think, and I think they mentioned it in promos. Like these two, even when they were in, they never fought 1-on-1, correct?
Nope.
Like this is never a match that's happened.
Nope.
So
no, because he was too.
They were in 6-man with the Shield
Mountie.
and Bryan and stuff like that, but they never had a 1-on-1 even over there.
Nope.
So this is like, you want to talk about dream matches? We talked about like this is like,
but it's crazy.
Let's go. You know,
we're talking about this being a dream match. 5 years ago, would you have considered this a dream match?
Probably not. Probably not.
You know, it's like
Dean Ambrose and Daniel Bryan.
We're back in the Fed. Daniel Bryan versus Dean Ambrose. You're like, all right, you know.
Cool.
Because they had because at the time they had him dressing up as a Mountie, and he was coming out with big funny hats, and they weren't really taking Dean Ambrose. And I know, Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan back then was injured, so he was more in the GM role. But like, yeah, they just never positioned either one of those guys at the time to be as serious as this.
Mm-hmm.
Like this feels like real stuff.
And I think with it being on AEW television, you know that AEW is going to let them beat the shit out of each other. Whereas if it happened, even in these current state, if it happened on the other network, it ain't going to be as violent and it's just not going to be the match that we know AEW is going to allow them to have, which is going to be just a brutal war. And that's what it's going to be. So
we're being pointed out that Daniel Bryan and Dean Ambrose did have a 1-on-1, but you know, like Mox was emphasizing the fact that
we're wrong again.
That he never defeated.
I thought
that he never defeated Bryan Danielson. That's his.
Gotcha.
And I think that's a great touch because
sense.
this version of Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever you still call him, like this is like might be my favorite. Like this is like the best version of him because it's just it's clicking. Like he's so cocky and arrogant, and he just knows how good he is. And I just want to see this. This will probably be a match, depending on obviously how it goes. But I'm just speculating on paper that I'm going to want to watch again. Like in terms of, I will watch it back,
like
down the road.
This is the kind of match that I watch wrestling for. I'm not, this is it. Like this is the kind of match where I'm like, this is my wheelhouse. This is what I'm excited for. You've got two guys who have completely reinvented themselves after leaving the Fed, right? And I think Jon Moxley is still one of the most striking reinventions, right? One that it's like, oh, he's not going around doing goofy shit and saying that the audience smells, and having to wear gas masks and all that bullshit, right? Not, feuding with feuding with another guy and with a fern, it's like nothing. None of that stuff is still relevant. We've got an entirely new guy. We've got a guy who comes in who's all he wants to do is beat people up. And ultimately, that's what wrestling is. You're a pro fighter. You go into a ring to beat people up so that you can win and get more money at the end of the day. Ultimately, that's what pro fighters do. So it's believable. It's conceivable. And he's going around the indies and he's beating people up there as well. And he's just got that aura. He's got that thing. And he is living the best version of himself. Daniel Bryan is reminding us how good he was, what he used to be before the Yes movement and all of that. Because I can't forget. I can't remember which podcast I was listening to recently, but someone was making an excellent point. Whereas Daniel Bryan got over in WWE, of course, despite the company, right? Despite what they wanted. And he didn't get himself over because of Batista, because of Triple H. It's because he beat the company. That's why people got behind Daniel Bryan. That's why people cheered for him. That's why the Yes thing happened, because at some point he was just bigger than the corporate entity. And that's, again, something that you can relate to. But it's not his in-ring, well, yes, to a degree, right? Because he is, no one wrestles like the man. But it's not because he put on 5-star classics every week on WWE programming. It's because of what he represented, what he was able to get over, and that weird natural connection he's able to create with an audience. Now, you got a guy where he's just like, you know what? I'm in the last couple of chapters of my career. I'm coming out swinging. I'm just like, and then you're like, this guy, we had legitimately forgotten how good he is, how generational a talent he is. He's probably the best North American wrestler to ever do it.
Yep.
You know, from me, because he can do it all, and he's doing the heel thing. He came in as a babyface, then he sets up against Adam Page, and all of a sudden he's a snide
just
little
one
bastard,
promo,
and you're like,
yep.
he can do it all. Like, I don't think there's I don't think we're gonna look back at his career and we're gonna be like, I don't think there's anyone who could do it better than Bryan Danielson. I honestly don't.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I do not think you're wrong. I think at least of the last 15, 20 years, he's the most influential, most important, at least North American, like you said, North American wrestler. I think, yeah, without question. So many people that we watch on AEW and around the world, but on AEW every week, they wrestle the way they wrestle because of Bryan Danielson.
Sure.
That's why they wrestle that way. And I think when he was in WWE, as great as it was, and we all loved him there too, that wasn't, like you said, that wasn't the focus. It wasn't the wrestling that got him over. It was the character. And in WWE, most of the time, it's not the wrestling that gets it's the stories and the characters that get over more than the in-ring, whereas AEW is kind of more in the middle, more leans towards, hey, no, we appreciate good wrestlers. Like, that's what, and yeah, he looks like he's in heaven over there. He's having the time of his life. He gets to wrestle the way he wants to wrestle, do the things he wants to do. And yeah, I would agree. I think
wants to, if he's, if he's like you mentioned, right? If he's dropping names of younger talent there, those are endorsements. Can you imagine? Like, Garcia is in his early 20s.
He's like 23 years old.
Yeah.
And he's clearly, like, he's in the ring with one of his heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that kind of shit has to be mind-boggling to you.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how you, like, how do you not, like, crack some smiles during that, right? Just
right?
kind of like
yeah, like when he's yelling at you and stuff, and in the ring, you're like,
right?
Like, he has to be sitting there, like, in character, just being like, I cannot believe I am main eventing Dynamite with this guy. Like, I am here.
That's
right
how
now.
we feel being here
like,
right now with you, Warren. We're like, we can't believe we're here with Warren. This is fantastic.
Never mind. No.
I'm trying to keep it serious because it's Warren. But I'm busting on the inside, man. I'm like, But ultimately, I think if we're going to make predictions, if we want to put predictions out and we want to see this Moxley Danielson dojo thing happen, which I think we all do, I think Bryan has to win. Because that would be like, all right, you beat, because Mox is like, if I don't bleed with you, I don't roll with you. Well, beating you is an ultimate respect thing. And if Mox wins, like, he just like, I beat you. Why would I want to roll with you? You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Danielson.
I'm leaning the other way.
I'm going to say Danielson. I think he wins.
Look at Danielson. Danielson hasn't lost still at all, right? Yeah. He's whatever, couple draws, but he's undefeated.
Yes, he has lost.
Has
he
he
lost against Page? He lost against Page.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Duh. Fool. Never mind.
Man. Get the Wikipedia.
I don't even watch the show. Get me out of here. No, but I feel like they could have a war. Danielson can make Moxley bleed. They could have that war, and Moxley can get his first like major win back since returning, like major win at the pay-per-view, and then afterwards be like, again, I don't know if they do team up. I don't know. Are they teaming up as heels? Is Moxley going to go heel? Because he's still babyface-ish to me. You know what I mean? Like, he's still good guy-ish to me. He's beat the crap out of you. He don't care who you are. Like, he'll ruin you. But he's still presented as a good guy to me. And if they join forces, does Danielson, who we came in as a good guy and then turned for the Page feud, does he lean back towards that, or does Moxley lean more towards I'm turning heel for this? Or maybe is the dynamic that they are just who they are, and you got kind of a good guy and kind of a bad guy?
How do you boo
people?
How do you boo that though as a fan?
You won't. It's going to be heaven for all of us.
You absolutely can.
So
I'm going to be cheering the whole way through. If they do pull the dojo stuff off,
So I think their face is by just because we're not going to let them be. We're not going to boo that out of the building.
So Pluggo, you think
I'm gonna go with Danielson.
Danielson, you're going
We
with
can't
Moxley.
I think Moxley needs a big win since, like a big win since his return. And if you beat Danielson, you can still do it in a way where afterwards Moxley's like, "Hey, I got the best of you, but I respect the hell out of you. You took me to the end, and yeah, let's do this thing." And I think that's what they do.
I think they're going time.
Oh, all right.
I think they're going time on this one.
Third draw. We're gonna get a third draw for Danielson. Oh, it's going down, guys.
And I'm completely okay with it because like there's instances where the time limit draw doesn't make sense and it's not good. But like last year, 3 of my favorite matches of the year were time limit draws. Yeah. There was one in Noah. Look, anyway, it doesn't matter. But 3 of my favorite matches last year were time limit draws. And as if these two guys just go completely all out at each other for 30 minutes, because that's what it'll be in non-title, right? So it'll be 30 minutes. I think it'd be fantastic. I think it will be. Just you lean into the drama of it, and a war of attrition, and then to me, it makes even more sense to say, let's start up our own thing then, because clearly we're on the same level. And then you set a seed for, eventually if they want to split them up, it's like, well, you never beat me. Yeah, but you never beat me either, kind of thing. It's like, whatever. Yeah.
That makes some sense. That would be fun.
I don't think you can go wrong any which way.
Yeah, I think either match. Any one of these three outcomes, I think we're all
if I'm ultimately wrong, then okay, whatever.
No,
that's fine. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again.
What?
Yeah, I know. Hard to believe.
I didn't even remember that Bryan Danielson lost a match, so don't feel too bad. So
we got to start watching the product.
I know. He's been winging it this whole time.